A story of hope and heartbreak.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about this.
An unsolved mystery that rocked Metro Detroit 4 decades ago.
I think there's a mountain of evidence that in fact they will never divulge to us, even as family.
What's being done to find the killer? The families of these 4 children have suffered without closure for 40 years now as investigators have chased lead after lead after lead in their hunt for the Oakland County Child Killer.
Well, now one family is launching a social media effort in hopes of finding the person responsible. Defender Kevin Dietz looks back at the crimes, the suspects, and where the search for Michigan's most notorious serial killer goes from here.
Next week marks the 40th anniversary of some of this area's darkest days, a time when the Oakland County Child Killer was traveling the area, abducting and killing children. 4 decades later, the case is still unsolved. Mark Stebbins, Jill Robinson, Chris Mahalik, Timothy King. 4 children between the ages of 10 and 12 abducted, held for days, then killed in a 13-month period from February 1976 to March 1977. If you lived here at the time, you know the story. The entire region was frozen in fear of the Oakland County Child Killer. Today, 40 years later, their murders are still unsolved. The families of the victims have told me time and again over the years, finding the killer is a cycle of hope and heartbreak.
I think there's a mountain of evidence that in fact they will never divulge to us, even as family.
I don't want the case solved by conjecture and hearsay and coincidence and suspicion. I want to know what the facts are.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about this.
There have been hundreds of suspects over the years. In August 1999, as a young reporter, I flew with a team of experts to Recluse, Wyoming, to exhume the body of then prime suspect David Norberg.
It might very well not be the right guy, but he's a suspect. We have DNA, and you just have to come out and do this.
As the workers dig, investigators stand guard. They know that this may be their best and final chance to solve the case of the Oakland County Child Killer.
Brooks Patterson, who was the prosecutor during the abductions, organized the trip.
It always has been a long shot, and but as I said before, it's a shot that is worth taking.
DNA samples were taken and tested, but there was no match, and the investigation moved on. The King family first reported seeing a blue gremlin, which for decades was strongly associated with the abductions. Today, few investigators believe a gremlin was involved at all. The Kings have been vocal about who they think is responsible, and Father Barry King has started a new blog called A Father's Story. They believe suspect Christopher Bush, a convicted pedophile who lived in Bloomfield Hills, is responsible. He committed suicide in 1978, shortly after Timmy King's death. Evidence at the scene included bloody ropes and a disturbing drawing that looks very much like victim Mark Stebbins.
I'm not guilty. There it is there. But at the same time, I know how the state police twist words to their advantage.
In 2012, the defenders broke the story of James Gunnels, who was molested by Bush and is a mitochondrial DNA match to a hair that was found on victim Chris Mahalik, which means that hair belongs to Gunnels or one of his relatives on his mother's side.
It seems clear that he must have had at least some knowledge of these crimes.
In July that same year, prosecutor Jessica Cooper told us about Arch Sloan and his 1966 Bonneville. A hair in that car is a DNA match to evidence at 2 crime scenes, Mark Stebbins and Timothy King's. Sloan is serving a life sentence for molestation. The hair is not his. Police believe it belongs to an acquaintance of his. There have been many twists and turns throughout the years. The families still say they're frustrated.
At some point, they need to extend that olive branch to the families and at minimum let us see what they have been working on.
The King family is suing to make public all of the records that police and prosecutors have. They hope that the public will be able to read them and help solve the case. The case is still active and open and headed up by the Michigan State Police. They say that tips continue to come in and are followed up on. Kevin Dietz, Defenders.